You're dressing like a Sunday morning.
So today's video is going to be about something I like to call self-therapy. I know it sounds a lot like self-care, but bear with me. So a couple weeks ago, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had my first therapy session provided by my school. I was going through a really rough time during quarantine, literally the darkest period of my life. I decided to make a therapy appointment to deal with my issues because we all have issues. You never know what someone might have gone through or what they're going through right now. I had the Zoom therapy appointment and it was nothing like I expected. I did not kind of react in the way that I thought I would. I thought I'd be like sharing everything comfortably and confidently and getting over everything, but all I did was cry, and then I turned off my camera because I was crying so hard and I looked really ugly. I was telling my therapist things I have never told anyone about or even said out loud to myself. I had repressed a lot of these events to the point where I wasn't sure if they happened at all. So letting that all out at once was really a bad idea. But I know therapy is important. I believe everyone should see a therapist at least once in their life, so check. But I don't think I would ever go through that experience again. I would want to work up to revealing my deepest, darkest secrets, but I still am in this, I don't know, this time in my life where I just want to grow and be a more mature person. So I decided to do something called self-therapy. I'm sure this is not a new concept, that something like this already exists. Things I do are things you've definitely heard of already, but it's like going to therapy, but with myself, and I know myself better than anyone else. What's important with doing this though, because it's like self-therapy, is being 100% honest with yourself. I know people say that and you say, yeah, I'm totally honest with myself. I mean, it's me and these are my thoughts. But I realized that for most of my life, I haven't been honest with myself, like actually asking myself the hard questions. So I feel like the only thing you really need to be prepared for in this is to be honest with yourself. You don't need to be ashamed of sharing something with someone that you don't know very well or telling someone a secret. The first thing I recommend doing is, you guessed it, journaling. You could find a random piece of paper, a napkin, a pen, a marker, and just write. Whenever you feel triggered or have a bad memory, I recommend writing down what triggered you, why you were triggered, how you're feeling in that moment, and what you want most in that moment. It could take 4 sentences. I feel like it's a good way to kind of ground yourself and be present in the current moment. I also recommend recounting the traumatic events in your past, writing down as much as you can remember so it's not kind of jumbled up in your head. Just write down everything you know so that it's all kind of laid out on a piece of paper and you can compartmentalize it. In a sense, it makes me feel like I'm containing the issue and it's not just stuck in my head. It's in this book and it's there. I can look at it if I want to. I can put it away. I won't forget anything that I do remember, which is important. So another thing I recommend, if you don't want to write, you can talk to yourself. I like recording my conversations with people in my voice memos. When I record it, I could catch something that I'd never noticed before. I can go back and, re-listen to it and just try and connect the dots for myself. The whole goal for this is to identify what happened, why it happened, and the effect it has on me now. Basically, talk to yourself as if you're having an imaginary conversation with someone you would trust completely and who would never judge you. Some things are really hard to open up to people about. I feel like these are good steps to take before officially going to therapy, especially if you're apprehensive about it, just to get an idea of where your own head is at and the issues that you want to tackle. I also recommend a weekly reset day, and this is where self-care comes into play. Just dedicate an entire day to yourself and doing the things that actually make you feel good on the inside. It could be eating really good food, going for a walk, writing in your journal, or watching your favorite TV show, just whatever makes you feel good, especially after you've had a major breakthrough or revelation, just to kind of reset your mind back to a state of calm and equilibrium. I don't want to set a rigid schedule for myself for doing these kind of self-therapy sessions because I feel like that can can make you feel anxious when you miss something. For some people that could work, but for me, I just do it whenever I feel ready and willing to open up and kind of work through it. So there's just no pressure. On days where I'm in a good headspace and I'm not super stressed out or anything, because it could make you even more stressed out. So that was a really like simple video, but these are just the 3 things I do. This is definitely a good way for me personally to kind of prepare myself for that and just know like where my head is at, because these are things that have been repressed for years that I've never talked about. Literally everything in your childhood, everything in your past affects you in the present. I'm obviously not a licensed therapist or a health professional, so don't like completely take my word for it. These are just things I found that help me, and I'm sharing them in the hopes that it'll help someone else, because I've never really seen people talk about this. People talk about going to therapy and things like that. What about the people who tried that and it didn't work for them? Like, what else can they do, you know, if they have no one else to talk to? If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I try and help you the best I can and try and point you in the right directions if I'm able to. But thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. I really hope it was helpful to someone, because I really needed this for myself. I wish you guys health and peace, and I will see you all in my next video.